This looked like a great idea, but I probably shouldn't have used the ninja.
I'm a problem solver. What can I say?
Sous vide machine.
Yeah, that'll warm it up. Exactly.
I'm gonna go
One
sous vide myself
to
for an
warm
hour
it
and
up,
a half.
and then one to run the jet.
So, welcome to our Halloween-themed two-part adventure. Today will be the first part. This is the Mists of Lamordia. This is a two-part one-off that I did, that I created for our Tyranny of Dragons crew. They are using their characters. It is a continuation of their characters, rather, from Curse of Strahd. And we will be picking up, let's see here. We will be picking up Tyranny of Dragons again on November 6th. So the 16th and 30th, we will be doing Mists of Lamordia. And there will be a break in between these two episodes. Just a reminder to my players and anybody who's watching. There will be no Friday game next week. I will be in Portland, Maine this time next week. And yeah. Crossing my fingers, I'll be in Portland, Maine. We're flying Southwest, so I don't know. They might, shut down another 2,000 fucking planes for quote-unquote weather. So yeah, no game next week. No Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday games. Because I will be East Coast bound. We're going to Boston, Salem, Massachusetts, and Portland, Maine. I'm going to have 99 problems, but a witch ain't one. So, yeah, before we get started, there will be... we won't do basically a pick up where we left off, since we didn't leave off. Where we left off, you guys had killed Strahd, and Maisel took his place as the Duchess of Barovia, Duchess of Ravenloft. And so, before we get started, I'd like to thank the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. If you're watching on Twitch, scroll down, you should see some tiles there. If you don't see the tiles, please click on my profile image, and those tiles should pop up. Each of those tiles will take you to these fine people's websites. The first on our list is the Speechless Bard. She and her husband make beautiful leather products for their tabletop role-playing games. She has leather book covers for your core rule books. She's got dice bracelets if you like to show off your geekdom, as many of us do. And she's got a dice rolling mat that when you roll it up, it looks like like a leather vellum spell scroll. All of the stuff that she does is customizable. She has absolutely amazing artistic talent. She does all of it by hand. If you're going to order for Christmas, you might be SOL. I mean, with the shipping concerns going on right now, you may not receive it until March. She's in the UK, so even under the best of circumstances, you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for it to get over here and cross the pond and make it through customs. But definitely give her a look. She's definitely worth the wait. Next on our list is Fable Beard Company. Fable Beard Company makes beard products such as oils, balms, butters, and co-wash. They now have a full line of deodorants, eco-friendly deodorants, all aluminum-free, I believe. And they also have a line of spray-on colognes, and each of their scent profiles is a different character or fantasy character. Right now, I'm wearing the Harvester, which is part of their fall line. It smells of really fresh, crisp apples. It drives my wife nuts. But they have many different scents. Other ones that I've liked in the past is the Hero, the Marksman, the Candyman. Christmas is coming up, so you'll want to check out Gingerbread Man and Jack Frost, two of my favorite scents. If you're a first-time purchaser, just go to fablebeardco.com, create an account, and you can put two products put a product, any product, and a beard oil into your cart. And if you use the code FIRST in all capital letters, the beard oil will be discounted to free. And if you are a fan of our Wednesday night Traveler game, we have a Synther's Traveler game website, which is hosted via Obsidian Portal. Click on that link. It'll take you to the website for our Traveler game. The adventure log is written in the manner of little news blurbs that tell you a little bit of background and what these yahoos are getting up as they pillage their way across the Trojan Reach and all of their adventures, and how it affects the entire region. It's not just about the characters. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. Give us a fan like, and we hope you enjoy the content. So, as I said, these characters, where they left off, they were victorious and had defeated Strahd. I believe that was like a 2-part finale. And the rest of the group, if I remember correctly, Carice had the tiefling had some home issues, family estate things, and none of them wanted to stay in Barovia. Although Maisel stayed, she took over the management of Barovia and is known as the Duchess of Barovia. And the rest of the party, you all went home, traveled back through the mist to Faerun. In the amount of time that has transpired through various, you had loot that you came back with, and Maisel being left back in Castle Ravenloft really wanted for nothing. She had riches beyond galore, that as befitting a duchess. The rest of you went back, and over the past year, you have set up what amounts to more or less as a private investigator slash adventurers for hire business, and you have a small bookshop slash office in Waterdeep. And you've done a couple of little tomb raids and things like that. You're starting to get a little bit of a name for yourself. But it's not like the bell above your front door rings every day with a new customer coming in. However, today, a raven lands on your doorstep, and you have the door open because it is a rather warm fall day. The leaves are starting to change, and Waterdeep is starting to get ready to go into the throes of their fall and winter festivals. And so the door is cracked open, and a raven lands on top of the door and goes down and purposely pecks the bell. So you hear a ding, and out of one of its claws, it drops, or talons, it drops a rolled up note that is tied with a ribbon. And it waits until Mike comes out of the back and sees this raven. It looks at Mike, almost nodding as if registering that Mike is there. And you see this scroll on the ground, and the raven then flies away.
Well, that's not the weirdest thing that's happened today.
Probably not the weirdest thing that's happened to Mike ever, but...
You're right. Mike reads the scroll.
All right. So Mike picks up the scroll, and this is what Mike sees.
Mike has no eyeballs. Give me a second.
I know that feeling.
Why is there no braille on this invitation?
Why can't I find what my curse was?
You mean your gift? The gift you got from the dark powers?
I only remember the downside of it. I don't remember what good it actually did me. But that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm sure we'll find more gifts for you.
I'm okay. I mean, if it's, I know it had to do with like eating huge amounts of food and.
Oh yeah, you had to eat grave dust and whatnot, didn't you?
I think it was just food. I had to eat and drink.
Oh yeah, like 4 times the normal amount of food or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that I either developed an eating disorder to get rid of it, or magically am not gaining weight? Because I really
Well,
don't wanna look
yeah,
like
that was-
Carrionette on my.
Yeah, part of it was
Said
that was
so.
why you didn't. That's why you had to eat more, is because your metabolism increased so much.
That's right.
That's
the dream.
Yeah. Anyways, on the back of this note, it tells you, Mike, you can read that there is. It specifically states a steamer ship will meet at the docks to take you to Ludendorf. On the morrow at 12 bells.
For one, I'm impressed that you assumed that the barbarian can read.
Well, you're in a bookshop, so I assume that you probably had a little bit of time. It probably takes you a good 20 minutes to read this small note. Got to sound out the words.
Is there anybody else in the little shop, or is it just Mike?
Oh no, they're all Pepperell, Brian, and Carice and Helga are there as well.
Okay, well then I don't have to fox anybody. Just be like, hey guys, we got an invite. You should get your
Send a fox.
So yeah, Mike comes into the back office and tells you guys, "Hey, we have an invite."
I give them the invitation and go off to find my fancy kilt.
Okay. So before you,
This will give me an excuse to dress up my zombie head in his fancy wear.
His fancy hat.
Uh-huh.
so all of you.
Not first made.
So all of you can make everybody except for Maisel. She will come into play here in just a moment. All of you can make a history check.
I don't know nothing about no history.
As usual, Chris picks all the things my characters are not good at.
Right. Yes.
I got 14. Eh.
What about Mike and Carice?
18.
That's pretty good.
Carrie's rolled a total of 3. She's too busy looking at hats.
Yes. The most important of attire.
Well, it's for the zombie.
I rolled a 5.
Okay, so Mike, since your investigator services offices are in the back of a bookstore, a lot like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, now that I think about it. Mike, you have, in your perusal of books, the name Ludendorf kind of piques your fancy, piques your interest. You know that Ludendorf is not a city or town anywhere in Faerun, and you've heard there are mentions in some of the older books of a Ludendorf that was on another plane. Or really part of another material plane. And you thumb through some old books, and you find that Ludendorff is actually a part of a continent called Lamordia. And you find this map that you can show to everybody else. This is Lamordia.
Look at the map.
Ooh. Ah. Right?
Something like that, yeah.
Looks like I'll have to get my winter kilt.
It is. It does. It look from what you can tell or what you've been able to glean is that Lamordia is a. It is written that Lamordia is a city of wonders where the power of steam has been harnessed It is in a colder region. It is a northern Germanic type town, from what you gather. Not cold like Icewind Dale, but it is colder, more like similar like Neverwinter, as far as temperature.
San Francisco.
Yeah, and it's more like Neverwinter, where winter starts showing up around fall. Neverwinter, if you're going to go trick or treating in Neverwinter, you're probably going to be wearing your snow boots.
But it's called Neverwinter.
Yeah, they're liars.
Well, I mean, Greenland's mostly ice, so.
Right. So, before you leave for Lamordia, now, and you're all aware of the reference that this is the Duchess of Castle Ravenloft. So, I mean, you know that this involves Maisel. Is there anything that you would like to purchase or whatnot before you board the steamer ship tomorrow at noon?
I need to go shopping for a bright pink tuxedo.
Oh, yes.
We need to get a beanie for the little skeleton or the zombie head.
Yes, the zombie head. I forgot about the zombie head. Man, he's got to be ripe by now. Or mummified.
He soaks some essential oils.
Bunch of kill.
Your winter kilt. So yeah, if there is a specific item that you would like, you can purchase anything out of the player's handbook. I don't know if you want to bring Maisel a wedding gift. I mean, you don't even know who this Adam is.
Would a bottle of wine be an appropriate wedding gift?
Oh, most certainly.
Sure, I'll find an expensive bottle of wine.
So you can find an expensive bottle of wine. Make an investigation check, Mike.
Carries would like to find a creepy gothic-esque music box.
Okay. You can find on a 13, you find the best bottle of local wine that you can find costs 10 gold pieces. But
Alright.
this shop has 5 bottles of Evermead, which is elven mead from the island of Evermeet. The elves traveling off to the west. Blah, blah, blah. Lord of the Rings. And Evermead is exceptional, but it's 100 gold pieces per bottle.
I'll just get one of the fancy local wine.
Okay.
Yeah, get the local wine because I'm not going to be spoiling you very much. So you don't need an expensive wedding gift.
I wanna bring Piddlewick to be the ring bearer.
Okay. Okay.
I'll go to the toy store and borrow one.
So, for some reason, all of the other children died. It was a very sad event at the wedding. So the next day, you go down to the docks, and as promised, in the docks is a strange-looking ship. Instead of having sails, it looks more closely related, almost like a Civil War ironclad, and it has 2 big smokestacks. And there is the captain and several porters are standing on the dock, and the captain is wearing he's wearing black wool trousers and a black peacoat with a small, not the large captain's hat, but like a small captain's cap. Standing there smoking a pipe. He's got a full beard, and he's as you come down the docks with your luggage towards the steamer, he says, I assume that you are the guest that I shall be ferrying to Lamordia.
Yes.
You make correct assumptions so far, sir.
Please join my ship. My crew will see you to your cabins. All of you have been appointed luxury cabins on my vessel. All of you make a perception check.
Staying strong in the 11s.
Wow.
20.
Nat 20 for a 26.
Wow. Okay, so what about Carice?
Let's go with the 3 again.
Ah. And Helga.
You're just playing for guys.
Soft 20.
Nice. So Helga and Mike and Brian. I keep forgetting your character is just Brian. He doesn't have a last name. He's just Brian. Helga, Mike, and Brian, you look up at the bow of this ship, and you can see that it has, on the bow, there are 5 large harpoon guns.
What are those for, Captain?
When we are not ferrying passengers, we are out in the sea of secrets. We are out in the sea of secrets. We are a whaling ship.
Give you $100 if you let me shoot one.
You are a guest aboard my vessel. You can shoot one if you'd like, for free.
Oh.
And now there's one less porter on the dock.
Roundabout.
Yes, Pepperell reels in a porter off the dock.
I got one.
That's a twofer. I got a porter and an orphan. So you guys are settling in, and you can, as the ship gets to be underway, the whole vessel kind of feels like there's a throbbing hum in the walls of the ship. And as it's pulling out of port, rather than the usual bell that you would expect to hear, you hear a horn sit there just... And you've never heard a ship or seen a ship anything like this before. And it putters off at a good clip. And he takes off into the trackless sea, heading west, along about 4 or 5 bells in the evening. You notice that a fog has set in, and the captain doesn't seem to be worrisome about the fog. He continues on. He doesn't slow speed at all. If anything, it seems that he increases speed. You have all seen fog like this before. It starts to get so heavy that you look down off the side of the ship, and you can see water out to about 5 feet from the edge of the ship. Beyond that, the fog is so thick and swirling that you can see nothing. And we will come back to it.
It's that werewolves.
Right, yeah. You got to look out for those aquatic werewolves. They're... We'll
Where are walls?
Yes, yeah, the where in our walls. We will come back to you in but a moment. So, Maisel, you, similar to the rest of the party, in Castle Ravenloft, you receive a note from a raven. And this note is a bit different. It isn't announcing your wedding, which would obviously be a shock to you. This was a note that was written by a Dr. Victor Mordenheim, and it is proposing a alliance. This is a marriage of political reasons, joining the realm of Lamordia and the dread realm of Barovia. And it just says, to be wed to my son Adam. Or adopted son Adam.
Is there a picture of, is there like ye olde dick pic?
No, and you should be thankful for that.
Okay.
We've used the power of Steam to give him an impressive manhood.
Should be included in any letter proposals.
Instead of a pump, you would just hear doot doot. No, there's no ye old dick pic. In fact, there's no picture whatsoever. There's really no information about who this Adam is. Doesn't list a last name. Doesn't say like Adam, Prince of Lamordia, or anything like that. It just says my adopted son Adam. And for background, Barovia, really hasn't. Obviously, things have changed for the better with Strahd being gone. It doesn't rain all the time anymore. It's not always dark. Sun shines. The people are much happier. Crops are growing. I mean, it's not like the ground out here isn't fertilized with dead bodies constantly. But aside from that, Barovia hasn't seen any new visitors. The population has stagnated. The problem that you have recognized is that the mist parted and allowed everybody who wanted to leave. But nobody has been drawn back in. And even though the mist parted, at the edges of your realm, they're still there. They're just not as heavy as they used to be. It's not like... Clearly, they're thin enough that Barovia isn't under a state of lockdown. And it is... Madame Ava has suggested that you, now being the Lord of Barovia, you have the powers, if you want to close the borders of Barovia. You can use the mist to draw in other people. But you haven't really figured out how to do that in the year that you've been here, and you're not sure that you would really want to, because you guys were kind of kidnapped and brought here. So, that's kind of a dick move. So, and Maisel's a fairly good person. She had her moments. But joining with another Dread Realm could be a financial, political, and it could remove the stagnation that Barovia has seen.
Okay, does everybody get new souls?
That's the other thing that you've noted in the last year, is that there are still people walking about in Barovia that you are fairly positive. You can tell the difference between a person who has a soul and a person who does not. There are still people wandering around with no soul.
Yeah, well, add that on my to-do list, okay?
A leader's work is never done. And what was that?
Do I know anything about Lamordia?
You don't know. You know basically exactly the same things about Lamordia that the rest of the party knows. You know that there are access to histories and books in Barovia. It just refers to Lamordia as a Germanic city that has harnessed the power of steam, technological marvels. It implies that it was from another prime material plane, but no, there's no real reference as to where exactly.
If you want to create tourism back at Ravenloft, you need to put in a water park. That always brings.
Oh yeah, that always gets them. Yeah, and a casino.
Good point. Good point. All right. So is the decision at hand whether or not I want to accept?
Basically, yeah. And similar to their note, it says that a carriage will be provided to you. that will carry you, the future bride of Adam, to Ludendorf. The ceremony will be held at Ludendorf University.
University. Okay. And
Oh, I'm sorry. It says it will.
Knowing that the rest of the party is currently on a ship heading that way.
Correct.
Right? Like we wouldn't have been able to communicate.
Correct. And a correction, it says that the wedding ceremony will be held at Ludendorf University, a wonder of medical marvels.
Awesome. I can't wait.
That sounds fascinating. Well, I strongly suspect I have to accept. So I'm going to do that. But before I feel like I want to do something to protect the castle before I go.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm going to.
I think it's get a cleric to do something to put like flip of warding or hallow or something.
Yeah, I forget what was Maisel. I know she's a Vistani, but
I'm a haunted bard.
okay. Yeah. So your closest advisor over the past year has been Madame Ava. She's getting up there in years.
Sure.
But she has supplied advice, helping you with her card readings via the Taraka deck. And of course, there are also the Keepers of the Feather, the Were-Ravens of Barovia. If you wanted to leave it in the Keepers of the Feather's charge, that would be possibly a good choice.
Okay. I will do that. And then also, you can decide whether or not it's okay. I would like to have spent the last year using guards and wards
Okay.
on the castle
Okay.
to set it up for protection. So it says you can create a permanently guarded and warded structure by casting it every day for a year.
Okay.
That seems like something I would do just so that the space was safe.
So, okay. So the castle is quite large. Is there anywhere in particular that you wanted to do the guards and wards?
It sounds like I can break it up. So I'm going to say my chambers and the heart of the dungeons.
Okay, so the crypts.
Yeah, the crypts and my bedroom. Chambers.
Okay. Wow, dick move. Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
So
Then I peace out. That's fine. Now I'm heading to my carriage.
okay. So as originally stated in the note, there is a carriage that shows up, a black gilded carriage with what appears to be two mechanical horses, and they are, as they're sitting there, they sound like a steam engine train. Just you see steam coming out of their nostrils. You just sure.
Nice.
And there is a carriage driver who is wearing a top hat, and he kind of nods to you and he says, "Please step aboard the carriage, milady. We will be heading to Ludendorf presently."
Great.
And the carriage takes off across Barovia. And heads up it's quite the journey. It heads up through Solenka Pass. In the past, Solenka Pass, at the far end of Solenka Pass is the Amber Temple, where much shenanigans took place, where you gained your dark gifts. But this time, the carriage goes past Solenka Pass or past the Amber Temple, and takes a very narrow trail around the mountain range. And as it's heading off, the mists seem to, at the edge of your domain, you start to enter these thin mists, but they start to get thicker and thicker. And as you look out the window, you see that this road that you're on, winding through this mountain pass, is barely wide enough to contain the carriage. And you can look off, and you can see, at first you can see what appears to be hundreds and hundreds of feet down this cliffside. But then the mists start to get so thick and start to envelop that you can't see more than 10 feet down the cliffside. And you hear the carriage driver, "Not to worry, milady, I have ridden this pass many times." Yet you've never seen this carriage nor the person riding it or driving it.
Okay.
And before long, the mists seem to separate, and you are, from what you can gather, you are traveling northbound through a foreign land. The journey takes you about 4 days before you finally reach and you travel through another city that is equally magnificent. To describe these cities, think of Berlin in the 1920s.
Cool. So I'm passing through a bunch of cities immediately to Barovia's north that I've never seen or heard of before.
Well, you pass through one city specifically, and that city is Neufurchtenberg.
Okay.
It's the homeland of the Swedish chef. You travel through this large city called Neufurchtenberg, and it continues on through a mountain range known as the Sleeping Beast. And once it gets over the Sleeping Beast, it heads to the northeast, and you reach Ludendorf, which appears to be a Germanic version of like 18th century London. It's very Victorian. There is a heavy cloud of coal smoke and steam in the air. And it is cold. There are, not like it's snowing, but it has snowed. There's like little drifts of snow on the sides of the road. It is quite chilly. And the carriage deposits you at the front entrance of the main wing of Ludendorf University. About 3 days later, the rest of the party arrives, and a carriage picks you up at the docks and takes you to Ludendorf University. Like I said, the smell of coal smoke is heavy in the air. There are snow drifts along the ground. All of the horses that are drawing the carriages here seem to be of a steam-driven robotic nature. They're not even real horses. You see a marvelous thing, a coachless carriage driving down the street with a man behind the wheel wearing goggles and what appears to be a skull cap, and he waves to you, waves to the carriage as it goes by, and you hear from a horn. And the marvels of technology that you're seeing in this city amaze you. Not that you're used to magic and spells and things like that, and you've seen some pretty amazing things, but this is of a mechanical nature. This is just a raw mechanical power. You've never seen anything like that. And you arrive at the doorstep of Ludendorf University, and as you step out, you see this gentleman coming down the stairs, and he introduces himself. He says, "Oh, good, my friends, you've arrived. You received your wedding invitations. My name is Dr. Klause Lorfstein. I will be putting on this ceremony." And from behind Krause comes Maisel coming down the stairs. And she hasn't seen you guys in a year, so there's probably somewhat of a joyous reunion.
Yes, high fives all around.
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
Krause, you can now. You can, Maisel. You have already seen the Grand Lecture Hall, which is to the west. It is this room up. Well, it is up and to the left of the screen, up this way, with my Susan G. Komen bright pink breast cancer awareness circle. You are welcome to explore the university. Klause Lorfstein, Heir Doktor, tells you that the Grand Lecture Hall will be where the wedding ceremony will take place, and they're preparing it now. The wedding ceremony will be actually at the end of the week. Coming from down the road, down here to the west, you see some rather official-looking town guardsmen coming down the road. You see a militia captain and 2 guards, and the militia captain comes up to the base of the carriage, and he stops rather briskly and clicks his heels together and says, Herr Doctor, we are here to investigate if you have any knowledge of the murders that have been taking place in the city. And Dr. Lorfstein says, well, no, I've heard about them, but that's certainly nothing to do with the university. If you know anything, please let us know. Good day, Herr Doctor. Please, welcome to your guests. And he clicks his heels together and starts to head back. Is there anything that you guys want to say?
No, we're not here 5 seconds. There's already murders.
Yeah, what murders? Tell us the grisly details.
Oh, I had assumed that you have been here long enough for the doctor to tell you there is a danger in the city of Ludendorf. It may not affect you. And then he looks at Carice and goes, or perhaps it may. But there have been a series of gruesome murders of mostly prostitutes in the city. It seems certain body parts have been taken.
Pepperell is immediately intrigued.
I'm sorry, what was that, Cameron?
Which ones? Which body parts have been taken?
So far, there has been a number of organs, and he looks around and he goes, and please apologize for my crudeness. Some of them were reproductive in nature.
Ooh, there's gonna be a Franken vagina.
He says,
It's very evil. I'm like, I don't like the way you looked at me. Did you just call me a hooker?
oh, please take no offense. I'm not even. What are you?
I thought the same thing. Rude. Is she dressed slutty or something like that?
So, none of these people, you get the immediate impression that these people have not seen tieflings or minotaurs before. However, you notice moving around when you look up past Klaus and Mabel, or Klaus and Mabel, you see that there are some servants who apparently are gnomes. So did you have any other questions for the guard? Yay, nay?
I guess. Are they all being killed at night? Like, is there anything we can do to not get murdered?
They
like in a certain part of town.
yes.
Well, I guess we want to know what part of town then, so we can like avoid it at night.
Like, watch out for Hoe Street.
Yeah, they have a. Well, it's, it is not Hoe Street, but he says that they have all happened on Bachter Street. And Klaus says, "Oh, that's horrendous. Please, for my forgiveness. I've been planning on putting you up in my home, my own personal manor, which is number 444 Bachter Street."
Well, can we stay somewhere else?
Yeah, there are rooms here available at the university, but you would be much more suited to staying in my home. I'm sure that you'll be safe. Isn't that right, Captain? And the captain says, "It seems that they are only that the only murders are happening with the shall we say, ladies of the night. It usually happens between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. So you may want to stay indoors between those hours."
Or maybe I'll go
That's the
play
best
justice.
supervised.
That's true.
That's what we always thought when we were teenagers.
Yeah, let's tell each other's moms we're sleeping over at each other's houses, and then we'll slink out at 1 a.m.
Right. And so the captain says, "Good day, I must get back to the investigation." And he turns, and he and his guards leave. Klaus says, "I'm sure that you'll be okay. You'll be perfectly taken care of in my personal manner. My own personal butler is preparing rooms for you actually right now. But until then, please feel free to look around the university."
All right. Does he know anything about Adam? I want to know more about this dude.
He says, "Oh, Adam is a wonderful gentleman. He's going to be known as the Prince of Lamordia. I don't know if you're aware of that."
Okay, things are looking up.
And that will, of course, make Lady Maisel here the Princess of Lamordia.
Yeah, and how's this general region of Adam? Is it?
Oh, I promise you won't be disappointed, Duchess.
Okay.
Do they want Piddlewick for the ring bearer since they're...
Oh, yeah, you've got Piddlewick. Piddlewick looks at you, and he kind of looks and he points over towards the grand reception hall like he wants to go in that direction.
All right, he's his own little person. He can go.
He claps his hands and he takes off towards the reception hall. And Klaus looks at Piddlewick and he says, "Oh, he looks like the creation of a famous toy maker here in Ludendorf."
Is Creator's here? That's so cool.
Let's go reunite them.
Hold on, I'll tell you who. I actually looked this up before, but evidently in my old age I'm getting really bad with names. Let's see
The Geppetto?
here. More or less, yes. It is not Blinsky. The toy maker here is of the is a man named Fritz von Weirg. You've heard of von Weirg before. When you talked to Blinsky, when you were in Barovia during that whole debacle, von Weirg's name came up. Blinsky, he is basically Blinsky's idol. He told you that von Weirg was capable of making the most amazing toys.
Well, that sounds like a great side quest.
Slinkies for everybody.
Yes, Slinkies and sparking 1950s wind-up robots. Because that's not a fire hazard. So,
I love a good fire hazard.
yeah, but they were so cool.
Well, speaking of old toys, I got a 1950s cast iron stove for little kids, my Easy Bake Oven original.
Oh, God, the Easy Bake Ovens, yeah.
Well, no, this is the actual cast iron stove that you can make a little fire in there and little pans for making shit in it.
Yeah, and people think that BB guns are the worst thing that ever came out of the fucking 50s, right? 40s, 50s.
What about the uranium-fueled cloud chain?
Right.
Science.
Yes, I was going to just say, here, have the new from Mattel, the weapon of mass destruction.
I own a set of jarts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an antique seller person, and you cannot list them on eBay. Like, it immediately takes a cut. So I was like, I want them, so I have a set of jarts now. Watch out, everyone.
I remember playing with those when I was a kid. We played with them. We were fine. Klaus leads you into the wedding hall, or this is the really it is a lecture hall, but he leads you in, and it's currently there are many servants all over the place that are prepping it. They're hanging streamers of flowers and things of such. There are a couple of jesters here that are practicing their performance for the wedding, for the reception, and the wedding planner that has been hired by the university is a woman named Mary Shelby, and Carice. Yes, Mary Shelby.
Mary Shelby, and there's a bunch of missing body parts. Okay, anyway, go on.
There's no spoilers there. No foreshadowing.
Could be a badge gone.
Carice, make a perception check.
Yay, because my rolling has been going so well. Come on, something above a 3.
Oh.
16.
Okay. So, Carice, you notice there's this this servant up here, right here, and she is attempting to set up a small table and decorate it with the appropriate wedding placements in the center of the table, black roses, that kind of thing. And she had set down a tray with silver goblets, and she was placing the goblets on the table. And you see 3 of these goblets go flying off the table and clatter on the floor. Nobody touched them. And then there's a whisper in your ear, like a disembodied voice that says, "Look to the parts."
Look to the parts of parts.
That's all you hear. Look to the parts.
Well, I'm trying to get a conversation. What part you talking about?
And then it says, "Sweep the leg." Did you guys see the meme that I posted about the princess saying, "I just want somebody to sweep me off my feet," and then below it says, "Monk, way of the Cobra Kai." He's got this look like he's looking up at the ceiling.
That shit was funny.
So yeah, it says, "Look to the parts," and that's where the conversation pretty much ends. And the servant girl is all kinds of flustered. She looks around and she goes over and she picks up the silver goblets, and she looks and kind of notices that Carice is looking over in her direction, and she goes and she kind of waves it away, and she goes, "Oh, don't bother with that. These kinds of things happen. Ha 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 ha." She clearly seems frightened by something.
Yeah, that's okay. This place reminds me of home. Don't worry about it.
Is there anywhere else that you guys would like? I mean, you've got a pretty clear image. Klaus tells you that this room to the south of you is actually offices for the professors. He tells you that the room to the north of you is actually the office for Professor Borchstadt, who is currently is the current professor of astronomy for the university. He kind of looks. He goes, "Psst, it's not a very well-funded department. We keep him on because of tenure." And he tells you that the eastern wing is they have a communal bedroom for people that want to stay. There is the headmistress's office and a sitting room or study room, and then next to that is a library. So it's up to you guys where you want to go, or Klaus says if you don't want to continue investigating or not investigating, looking around the university, the wedding grounds as he refers to them. He says we can go get a bite to eat at and what is the name of this place? We can go get a bite to eat at the Schwein and Pfeif.
I am starving. Yes.
Same. I was going to say, I clearly need to eat something.
Okay. So off to the Hog and Whistle. I'm just going to copy your tokens. So the carriage takes you, we're all the way over to the northwest here. The carriage takes you down the street and deposits you outside the Schwein and Pfeif pub. And Bachter Street, it's a pub. It's not unusual. I mean, even in Faerun, it's not unusual. You see a number of prostitutes standing out front of the Schwein and Pfeif. There's a number of townsfolk milling around, but to the southeast, you see that a side street. They don't have police cordons, but you see that there are a number of city guard standing around. You see a number of chalk outlines, not like body outlines, but like evidence outlines where they're drawing chalk rings around things. And there is clearly a dead prostitute at the end of the street that they haven't moved or covered in any way yet.
Ooh, let's go see.
Chris.
Yes.
With Carrie's, I'm gonna spread my wings and do a quick fly around the circle, maybe like a 50-foot radius-ish, and just kind of do a circle around the area real quick and just see if I see anything suspicious.
Okay. Hold on just a moment.
Yeah, you're not gonna freaking me out.
Oh, I'm a creepy kid walking around with bum wings, like, they're already freaked out.
Yeah, Therese, the one person who remember what their dark gift is. Let's see here.
I'm here. I'm waiting to get used to it.
Right? Yeah. Right. You were already looking at me funny.
I looked up my dark gift issues.
Mine was just purely functional and raised my charisma beyond max, so I didn't have to remember a lot about it.
Right.
Mine expired after 10 days, so I'm pretty sure it's been 10 days.
Yeah, I gained wings, and I just have.
Unless you want to make it permanent.
Are those?
No, don't want to make it permanent? Darn.
Sorry.
I think mine was my weapon. and then I was always hungry. Because I have a fiddle that's a crossbow. Like a +2 crossbow.
Right. Yeah, your
to be reloaded.
yeah, your special get fiddle.
I just got lots of strength, but then I like to bully people.
Oh, that's right. So I'm gonna also say that over the last year, I have mastered The Devil Went Down to Georgia on my crossbow fiddle. I'm
Yes.
really good at that. That's what I spent the last year doing.
I'll go down and look at the investigation.
Okay. So, Carice, make a perception check. And you guys can place yourselves wherever you'd like on the map. Carice obviously is in the air, flying about. Flying a boot.
17.
Okay. I'll let you guys place yourselves. And Klaus, he kind of does resemble the alien from American Dad. Or no, that's the fish. Yes, the goldfish.
Roger's the alien.
Right.
Roger's hilarious.
Roger's great. He's the next best thing to Stewie.
Absolutely.
I think they need to do like a crossover episode where Roger and Stewie go on like a cross-country Thelma and Louise style journey. That would be fucking great.
That'd be
That
hilarious.
needs to happen.
Are they
so
done?
much.
It's like wakes up and Brian's gone and there's just Roger there.
Right. So, Carice, you see that as you're flying around in the group of townsfolk that are watching, the looky-loos, if it was modern day, or if they had coachless carriages, they would all be slowing down traffic as they were driving past this. Those people. You see that there is a suspicious person who is wearing a top coat and appears to be wearing quite well dressed, wearing a black Victorian suit with overcloak and a top hat, but the cowl is up like he's like trying to mill about but not be seen. He's carrying a walking cane, and he appears to be looking through the crowd as the guards are moving about and doing their chalk outlines.
I cast mass suggestion.
Okay, what are you suggesting?
People, all within 60 feet of me, that they should all bring the results of the investigation or things they know of connected to the murders, and I give the address of the guy we're staying with.
Okay.
And there's, let's see, the guy in the cowl, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 11 people there, so all of them. Wisdom DC 18.
Okay. So you're not telling them to give the information to you right now. You're waiting for them to finish their investigation and bring it to you once they've completed it.
Including the people standing around and the guy in the cowl.
Okay. And you are standing practically on the corpse. Did any of you want to examine the corpse? I guess Helga, being the paladin, would be probably the most medically inclined, but...
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay. So we can move Helga down here.
I've seen a lot of dead people. I probably want to take a gander.
So Helga, make a medicine check. And this is the crossover between our two games where Cameron gets to do medicine stuff.
Got 18.
Ooh, look at the big medical brain on Helga. Well, this corpse is clearly missing both of its arms. But with an 18, you can see that the arms were the prostitute was killed beforehand. She did not exsanguinate from the missing arms. She was actually killed by a rather brutal slice to the abdomen, basically from crotch to chin, that caused her insides to become her outsides. And then the two arms were removed with surgical precision to the point where the ball socket, where the shoulder meets the rotator, was carefully cut away to preserve the ball socket on the arm.
Okay, so they like cutting open a chicken or something, right? Like held that up one of those.
Well, even a chicken, they use a meat cleaver. This looks like it was done with something much sharper and much more careful.
Oh, like a scalpel.
Right.
Gotcha. Alright, well, I'm starting to suspect,
If
medical guy.
the removal of the limbs was so precise that you estimate that there was actually, from the removal of the arms, there was a minimum of blood loss.
So we're looking for like a surgeon or doctor, possibly a butcher, but probably a doctor.
Mike, what are you doing? As Mike's Minotaur belly starts to rumble because you can smell good food smells coming out of the Schwein and Pfeif from over here.
I mean, I personally know how long it takes to do an amputation, and my personal thought is nobody noticed this shit in the middle of the street.
The captain, or do you voice that out loud?
Well, that's my thought. That's not Mike's thought. He doesn't know that.
That's metagaming thought.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I see you.
Mike's gonna pay attention to the shifty guy and try to see what he's up to.
So has Carice come back down and told the rest of the group, hey, there's a shifty guy over here?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, so Mike knows about the shifty guy, and what when you say pay attention, I imagine Mike, the barbarian Minotaur's usual pay attention to involves either fists or axe. So what do you mean by pay attention to?
I'm trying to see what he's doing, like why he being all shifty over here. Like, is he just a creeper that wants to see dead bodies, or like does he have something to do with it?
Make a perception check. Or I guess you don't need to make a perception check. Make an insight check.
10.
The insight that you gain is that this guy looks like he is probably an upper crust member of society, whereas he's milling about on Bochter Street. This end of Bochter Street is not really where high-end upper crust people would normally be, and maybe he doesn't want anybody to really notice him too much because of that. You don't see anything in your insight that you think that would cause him to be suspect as the murderer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on him anyway.
Okay. What is Brian doing? I'm sorry, what was that, Jeff?
Chris, the shifty guy, if I read the map right, was one within 60 feet of me for the mass suggestion rolls.
Correct.
Okay.
Do they get any kind of save for that?
Was 18.
Okay. So what's Brian doing?
Brian is kind of hanging back, trying to see if anybody's gonna either like if something gets noticed or somebody gets overly noticed, that I will then give chase or track them down.
Okay.
I don't see everybody's up there looking at the bodies and stuff. I'm kind of more ready. Somebody's gonna pull type of thing.
So you're ready for the action moment of a Law and Order episode where you have to chase down the perp?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dun dun.
Yeah, dun
They
dun.
stupidly yell "stop" from 30 feet away, and then they have to run after them. Like,
So lately, just for shits and giggles, because my wife loves Law and Order, and actually, I like the original Law and Order. We've been watching Law and Order UK. Man, shit is different over there. It's a little scary. From what I'm learning, is that like they can drag you into court over the most trivial circumstantial evidence. It's terrifying in a way, and then it's terrifying in another way that if the police find you guilty, or if the police think that you're guilty of something, they're kind of hamstrung by the same laws. It's very peculiar. Like in court, they like get into arguments and shit. Like and the judge, like the crowd in the court can like start rabble rousing, and the judge isn't like, order in my court. They just let them go. Whatever. The people have something to say. Let them say it. And it's like, this is weird.
Don't they get in fistfights in Parliament too?
Oh yeah. But watching Parliament, that's like Gabe, my brother-in-law. He actually sometimes sets the channel to like the CCTV for Parliament because it is fucking hilarious. It's yeah. Well, and that's what my wife said when I brought up. I'm like, the judge doesn't call for order or anything. She's like, well, yeah, but look at Parliament. I mean, they sit there and literally insult each other's mother, in Parliament, and nobody does anything about it. Yeah, and they have to wear like a powdered wig while the judge and the attorneys have to wear powdered wigs and special robes and shit. I'm like, it's very odd. It's all very strange to me.
He's like throwing shoes at each other.
Right. It's so weird. But yeah. So Brian is waiting for his dun-dun moment. Maisel, what are you doing?
I kind of want to look and see, sort of stand back and see who's hanging around. I know there was the one shifty-eyed guy. I'm just kind of wondering maybe if there's other ladies of the night who are observing, who might know what's going on.
So you immediately notice that there are 3 prostitutes over here that are keeping their distance. They're trying to draw in John's, of course, but they all seem rather fearful and keeping their eyes over on the street. And one of them is crying outwardly. But make a perception check.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Nat 20.
Holy shit. So, as you're approaching the prostitutes, I assume that you want to question them. Out of the corner of your eye, across the street, up here, you see what appears, and these here are gas lamps, or gas lights, and they're not special technology. They have those in Waterdeep, but you see it is probably close to 6 or 7 in the evening. It is starting to get dark, starting to get cold. So there's a lot of shadows around these gas lights. And you see up here, what you thought was a shadow coming from the gaslight, which you can see is in this direction.
Right.
You see the shadow move back into this alleyway up here. And you notice immediately that one of the prostitute that's crying, this one out front, she looks over in that direction and brings her hands up to her face, and she's and basically she turns white.
Okay.
Maybe she turns WIGHT and not WHITE. No. Sorry, play on words.
Yes, of course.
So you come over to you see this shadow move, and to give you an idea of what what Bochter Street looks like, I think I have. Yes, I do. This is a 3D image of Bochter Street and the moon.
Very cool. Alright.
As you can see, for this adventure, no expense was spared.
So I want to talk to the hooker that saw what I know I saw
Okay.
and ask her about what did she see that too? Does she know what it is? Because I want her to know that I saw it.
So she looks at you and whispers through her fingers. She says, "You saw that?" And the other hooker next to her, I mean, we're just going to call them what they are. They're hookers. She says, "Ach du Liebel, don't tell her, Mabel. Don't speak of the terrors in the night."
Well, I've seen darker. So yeah, I'm going to indicate that I saw it too, and that my friends and I are experts at dealing with the dark stuff.
The dark stuff.
That hides in the shadows. So what does she know?
So Mabel, crying and in between sobs, tells you that, and she's just racked with sobs. She says, "Oh, poor Lydia. Lydia was a good soul. Do you know she was only 16? She was just such a young girl." But Mabel herself looks like she might be 17 or 18. And she says, "It's a terrible thing that they took her arms. She doesn't have any family, but we are her family. We can't even bury her with an open casket."
Was there anything special about her hands or arms?
So Mabel, or the other hooker, tells you, she says, that Lydia had the most beautiful porcelain skin. Wonderful arms, unmarred by disease. She was beautiful. Beautiful woman.
She always put the lotion in the basket?
Yes, she always put the lotion in the basket.
Okay. Interesting.
The third hooker comes to the front, and she looks really young and stupid. And she almost reminds you of Gertruda from Curse of Strahd. She has the wide-eye, innocent look. Like, she probably is new to this game. And she looks and she goes, "Many others have been killed on these streets."
Well, while we're here, we'd like to help. See what we can do to stop it.
The second hooker is like, "There's nothing that you can do. We're always the ones who get killed or murdered. The police don't care."
I can prove that we're here to help. I got a solution to the open casket. We're just going to put her in a dress, stuff her sleeves full of straw, and we're good. See, already helping.
That's actually not a terrible idea. So the crying one, Mabel, she goes, "Oh, that would be so kind of you. Oh, that would be so wonderful. If only we could give Lydia a proper burial with a hearse."
Oh, okay. I'll dig another hole. I'm buried like the fifth person I've buried.
Every time I come through the mists of dread, I have to bury a body.
Shoveling dirt.
Do I look like a porter?
I'll go
God.
and flip him a gold piece. But here, this should cover the expense.
A gold piece is close, yeah. Probably, I mean, judging 2 or 3 gold pieces would rent a hearse carriage and, a decent coffin and,
You're a hooker. Make it work.
No, I make up the difference. I'm rich now. I can throw it around. I'll make up the difference.
Okay. Wow. Oh,
Wow.
shit. So, after a while of berating the hookers. Because, I mean, when isn't that a good time? Klaus finally drags you guys away and says, no, come in. We need to get some food. I have been working on this wedding all day. I am very hungry. And so he leads you into the Schwein and Pfeif. Oh man, you guys are fucking killing me. I didn't expect my horror adventure to be a goddamn comedy. I mean, I don't know why I expected anything else, but, you know. I didn't mean to take a guard. And this is the Schwein and Pfeif. You probably recognize this inn. I've regurgitated it from a previous adventure. You guys can pick what table you want to sit at, and I will be right back.
Why did I think eating wings while doing this was a good idea?
I'm making a claw.
Gonna get buffalo sauce on your keyboard.
Looks pretty good. I painted it.
That clock looks cool.
Yeah, I did watercolors, so it turned out pretty nice. So, like, the numbers weren't, but the background was, so.
So we're picking a place to sit. I want to be by the
Holy
fire.
shit, that's
Everything
cool.
is supposed to be
So
cold.
we didn't need our bed frame? Wow.
Sit right.
I decided to sit by the spit of roasting meat for easy access.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit right here so I can
No, I
over
like it where
hear
it's
those
at.
people talking but be close to the fire.
So excited. I kind of want to go to bed. So, sorry, I had to go check out our new bed, and I'm so excited. I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to go to bed. We haven't slept very well for like weeks, and so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks so great. So, this is the table. Wow, I see you guys have spread out. Where is Pepperell?
I'm down by the spit of roasting meat.
Oh, you're checking out the kitchen. Okay.
I want to be close to the food.
Okay. So,
You went in the kitchen. Forget. You just went into the kitchen.
where did Klaus go?
Wait. What the hell's going on right here? What's going on right here?
It's
Where-
a hot tub.
Yes, there is a hot tub room. Yeah, there are 4 hot tubs for weary travelers to bathe, complete with barmaid service. Brian's like, I'm in the hot tub.
I want to be warm. That sounds warm. Forget the fireplace. I want to be in the hot tub.
Yeah, when you come in, there's a sign on the door that tells you the services that Schwein and Pfeif offers. One of them is hot tub side food and maid service, and they have these steam powered 4 hot tubs that are in here that just boil up hot steam through the bottom that keeps the water in the tub warm to a nice 95 degrees that you can soak in and bathe, and barmaids will come around and service you. Well, Kind of.
So just to clarify, service means
Yeah, no, they're not prostitutes. If you it is a clean establishment. It is not an inn. There's these stairs up that lead up actually go to the owner's barkeep's private residence, and private residences of some of the staff that work here. There's no rooms for rent. In the kitchen, Pepperell, you meet Chef Breton. He is not originally from Ludendorff. He's actually from Newfoundland, and he is a well-renowned chef that brings an air of elegance to the Schwein and Pfeif. Think about like if you were to go to Leavenworth, if you were there during or in the upstairs restaurant at the Duck and Drake, it's that level of food. It's not like, oh, I'm in a bar, I'm going to have jalapeno poppers and a gallon of beer. No, this guy is actually putting down some decent food. The barkeep, I didn't bother to give a name, but over to the table comes the head waitress, Ingrid. And Ingrid asks your Helga, Maisel, Carice, and Mike, what would you like, what would you prefer for food? She tells you, I mean, it's a, unlike any of the inns or taverns that you've been in Fable, they actually have a menu.
Carries would like to order a rack of ribs.
And she says, would you prefer that Chef Breton braise those ribs with burgundy, or would you prefer that they be with something sweeter?
Oh no, I point to the Minotaur, I'm like, he's gonna eat the meat, I just want the ribs.
Right. Yeah, we're going to share a rack. So, Mike, would you prefer burgundy, or would you prefer a sweet plum sauce that Chef Breton is known for his excellent plum sauce?
Well, if he's known for it, we'll go with plum.
Other things on the menu are like chicken and dumplings, kielbasa sausage, things like that. All made here.
Do they have like a special?
The chicken and dumplings is on a special.
Okay, I'll take that then.
They also have a special of a venison, cheese, and bread tray served with what they just call a meat broth.
Okay, once she's rattled off all the specials, I'm going to just say yes.
Yes to everything.
And pull a Ron Swanson and say, you may have heard that I want some of everything you've got, but I actually want one of each of those dinners.
Okay.
all the bacon.
Yeah.
I put like all the bacon and eggs that you have.
And Ingrid says, and what would you like to drink? They have a pitcher of wine for 2 gold pieces. You can get fine bottles of wine for anywhere from 10 to 15 gold pieces. They have a gallon of their porter ale for 2 silver pieces.
Mike would like an entire gallon for himself.
Okay.
Same.
All right.
I'll take ale. That sounds good.
All right. So you're talking about so for for Maisel's meal is 8 silver pieces because she's ordering everything on the menu. But for everybody else, it's about 5 silver pieces. And plus, if you want entire gallons of ale, it's 2 silver pieces a piece. And for wine, it's 2 gold pieces to 15 gold pieces, depending on quality. You can spend what you would like in that range.
I'm just gonna add a gallon of ale, so I think that takes me to 10 silver. There you go.
Maisel, you get a whisper in your ear that says, "Stay away from the meat soup." and you see the first pitcher that is set down is thrown off the table. And Ingrid says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I will get you another pitcher. I do not know what happened, but that is unacceptable. I will be right back." And she goes and she returns with a pitcher of ale and sets it down for you.
At that point, I'll lean on the table and I'll tell everybody what happened earlier in the day in the similar experience.
All right.
So when you say tell everybody, are you like telling a tale around the bar, or are you telling a tale around? Oh, about the cups. Yes.
The cups and the voice telling me to look for the parts, look at the parts.
Something about the parts.
So at this point, I'll inform the party, like, just real hush-hush on the down low, like, hey, guys, like, this happened earlier. There's some creepy shit going on.
Pepperell, Chef Bartholomew is saying, "Why are you in my kitchen? What are you doing in my kitchen? Get out! Get out!" Make a perception check.
Rocking the 18.
All right. So you look around the kitchen and you see him over at this small table, and he's chopping up what appears to be liver to make liver and onions. And it doesn't appear to be beef liver to you. You're kind of now like on edge. Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Ew, mystery meat.
Fail.
He's like, he continues to chop up this liver, and he goes, get out, I have to chop up the liver for the meat soup."
Yeah, it's totally how to serve man.
Is
Is he gonna like push me out of the kitchen?
Yeah, he's like waving at you, like he's not threatening with the cleaver, but he's like waving at you with a chunk of liver in his left hand and his meat cleaver. He's like, "Get out of the kitchen! Get out! Get out!"
I'll comply. I just wanted to sit near the pig on a roast and help myself.
And you see that there is in the kitchen. There's a stairwell that goes down to their basement, and you can feel a cold draft coming up from the basement. So clearly, they've got some kind of cooling system that is, keeping their basement refrigerated. All of the meat looks very fresh. Meat in quotes. Brian, the barmaid, comes over to you and lists off what is available to eat. What would you like to have to eat and drink as you soak in your luxuriously nice and bubbly, warm hot tub?
Kielbasa. And one of your top shelf ales.
Okay. So, did you want a gallon or a mug?
Sausage. Just a pint. I just want to sip on it. I'm not trying to get drunk here and pass out in this hot tub.
Okay, so kielbasa is only going to cost you 1 silver piece. Did you want that with cheese and bread?
Nah. One hand for the sausage, one hand for the beer.
So 1 silver piece for the kielbasa and 4 copper pieces for a mug of, 1 silver piece for a high-end mug of ale.
I pull my wet hand out and grab some money and hand her a wet money.
Just said, "Here you go. It's in the pocket of my trousers. You get it."
I mean, this one over here is in the hot tub fully dressed. I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Maisel, make a insight check. The hair on the back of your neck kind of stands up, and you feel a cold draft like something walked through you. You're muted. Dun 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 dun. I still can't hear you.
I was saying when I got through when the cold breeze came through me, I started singing the music from Sweeney Todd. But other than that, do I have a sense of what direction it's coming from?
It feels like it moved through you from left to right. Ingrid is now over here helping somebody else.
All right. I'm going to ask the rest of the people at the table if anybody felt that.
I'm going to sniff the air for evil. I mean, if I that's in.
You don't smell evil, but you do hear like a it's not strong, but you hear a faint ringing of chimes in your ear.
Okay, so that was probably an entity of good, whatever it was.
In Maisel's ear, you hear ask about Millie.
Millie? Okay. Let's see. Ask about Millie. Well, I should probably wait till the waitress comes back with our food, and I'll ask her when I see her.
Okay.
Millie.
So, after a short wait, Ingrid comes back over to your table, and the waitress brings brings Brian his kielbasa sausage and ale. But so Ingrid comes over and is setting down the food and.
I like the way he laughed. Kielbasa sausage. I'm worried about this sausage.
Remember, horror is all about the build-up. I thought about, like, each one of these scenes, I'm like, oh, shit, we could do, like, an entire fucking encounter in each of these rooms. And I'm like, but that ruins it. That ruins it. And so, Ingrid brings over your food and sets it down on the table, and she's setting down your drinks off the platter. And so, Maisel, you're going to ask about Millie? How do you want?
I'm going to say, I met a really cool lady the last time I came through town. I was wondering if she's still kicking around. Her name's Millie.
The Ingrid's face turns white. She says, "Oh, we don't speak of poor Millie."
What happened to her?
She says, "Millie was a 12-year-old girl that helped around the alehouse of the Schwein and Pfeif, and one day she went missing. And we haven't seen her since, but Chef Bartholomew said that he came to open the tavern one morning, and there was a small envelope on the doorstep, and when he opened it, there was a finger inside, and it had a ring on it that we knew Millie used to wear."
Ew. I mean, that's terrible.
Did you save that?
Okay, that's like, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah, how long ago was this?
Oh, Millie disappeared probably 6 months past.
Where did she live?
Oh, she stayed in a room upstairs. Her parents died, you see, and the innkeeper or the tavern keep owner of the Schwein and Pfeif, he was giving her a room free of rent. to keep her off the streets and keep her out of prostitution. That was going to be her only choice.
That's right. I remember.
I have one question for you. Why are your cops so useless?
And she shrugs and she goes,
Missing? How many people go missing?
she shrugs and goes, it's Ludendorff. Murder is kind of the underworld's business in the city.
I thought Barovia was bad.
She says, she tells you, when you ask that, she says, hold on here, let me switch pages. She says, Schloss Aubrecher. Von Aubrecher is the he is the Baron of Lamordia. He has recently passed laws barring the practice of grave robbing in Ludendorff and Neufurchtenberg. Many of the grave robbers would go and steal corpses to take to the universities. He has outlawed the practice. Unfortunately, this has caused to what I think, and many people believe, an increase in murders.
Harry's looks at her and gives her one for really awkward, forced smiles and holds up her zombie head doll and says, I like you. Would you like to pet my zombie?
And the zombie goes, "Rah, rah," and she's like, oh heavens, that is terrifying. And she scurries away. She runs away to the bar.
Mr. Snappy won't bite you, I promise. Come back.
That is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. And she's like telling the innkeeper, oh my god. Klaus looks at your zombie and goes, oh, now that is interesting. What form of medicine is keeping it alive?
Sheer force of will and a little duct tape.
A little dirt and duct tape. That'll stop the bleeding, the infection. I mean, I know it's a head, but I think somewhere in the forest surrounding Lake Shasta, Jeff's toe cries out in the night. It haunts an old abandoned boathouse that's sitting on cinder blocks. That's an inside joke. Yeah. He is amazed, and he's like, may I hold it?
You can hold it, just don't drop them.
So
He gets grumpy if you drop them.
he grabs the head and he's holding it, and of course the zombie is like trying to bite him as he's holding it, and he's like, this is amazing. I don't even see the apparatus that keeps it alive.
Nope, it's just a cursed head.
He says, oh please, curses. Everybody make an insight check.
He seems really too interested in reanimation.
5.
Insight.
I'm more worried about him dropping my head than anything.
Congrats, man.
22.
20.
Okay.
Am I making this inside check? I'm not even in the same room.
You can make an insight check as well. So you got, what, a 20?
Yeah.
So all of you realize that the people of Ludendorff, perhaps all of Lamordia, don't believe in magic. They don't believe in magic.
You're gonna blow their fucking mind pretty soon here.
They scoff at the idea of curses They scoff at the idea of, I was going to say necrophilia. No, they believe in that a lot. But they scoff at the idea of necromancy. Everything they do is scientific. And so he's looking at this zombie head, and he's like, I don't see what keeps it going. He's expecting some clockwork device to be sticking out of the neck. Brian, there's another bar patron next to you, and you strike up a conversation, and you realize everything in Ludendorff is scientific. The corporations have come in and set up their coal mining in the what was the name of those mountains? The Sleeping Beast Mountains, to mine coal and some other element. Brian, make a intelligence. Make an Arcana check. I know this is going to be tough for Brian.
It would be normally, but I rolled amazingly. 22 with a nat 20.
So, what this guy is describing, he says coal and some other element that he tells you gives miraculous powers. It sounds an awful lot like, to Brian, like whatever this element is, it gives off some kind of, what you would assume, some kind of magical property. For metagaming purposes, it sounds an awful lot like fucking uranium.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using it for all manners of purposes. Who knows what you're breathing in? The coal, obviously, is being thrown into furnaces, but some of these miraculous steam-held products, you might be breathing in irradiated water vapor. But he basically...
I feel the need to stop raining.
Yes, I suddenly need to wear a mask. Anybody got an N95?
Have like 3 arms or like 6 eyes. Like, are we seeing some mutations going on?
Make Carice make an investigation check.
$16.
So on your 16, you overhear that there are several people that have talked about citing monstrosities around the mines in the Sleeping Beast Mountains, that there are these mutated creatures. They speak of leading over these mutated creatures, the loup-garou, which sounds an awful lot like a really bad form of werewolf. But it seems like they're mutated.
Yeah.
Like the fish with 3 eyes from The Simpsons. There are talk of another table is over talking, and you overhear that they were a crew on a whaling ship that brought back a five-eyed whale.
Mm-hmm.
With a horn. There are numerous things. There are creatures that are not of the like that you have ever seen before. I like how Gary's like, I don't like this.
You.
Leave, guys. Anybody got a lead apron I can borrow?
Exactly.
Oh, that's a funny joke. Maisel, make an investigation check.
Done. Let's look for some anti-radiation medicine. Go.
That's pretty
17.
good. So while you were at Ludendorff University, you saw a number of professors walking around with, and keep in mind that Ludendorff's University, they study a number of things. astronomy, mathematics, but their biggest call to fame is medicine. And you saw a number of these doctors walking around with what appeared to be, at first glance, appeared to be heavy, like the waxed leather aprons that butchers or surgeons wear, but these were much heavier, like they were lined with lead, with powdered lead.
Ew. Should we all get lead chain shirts?
Yeah, that's going to stop a bullet.
Well, I mean, it might not stop a bullet, but it'll stop creepy radiation horror.
The other thing that you guys have noticed, and you noticed, and I forgot to bring this up, the other thing that you've noticed is that black powder firearms are numerous. Like the town guard all have flintlock pistols.
Okay.
And some of them are even carrying what you would think of as an arquebus, but these are basically blunderbuss flintlock rifles.
I think we need to go shopping at first thing in the morning.
Oh, you can do that. Oh, yes. Yes, you can do that. So, you guys finish your meal, and Klaus says, oh, that was such a good meal. I love my butler, but you cannot beat a good meal given this fantastic chef at the Schwein and Pfeif. But we should retire to my manor. And so
Sounds great.
he packs you all up. Trying to do this.
Tell them I'm expecting some callers that might have information on the murder investigation, so they should call me down from my room as soon as anyone comes calling.
So when you say that, he kind of says, he kind of looks alarmed at first and says, oh, what interest do you have in the murder of prostitutes?
I have interest in all murders, not just the murder of prostitutes.
And he says, suit yourself. And he kind of pushes his plate away and he goes, they are of little trivial contrivance.
Contrivial?
Contrivial. Contrivial. It's a new word.
In the eyes of all mortal deaths are trivial.
He chuckles at that, and he says, I don't know who this Vol is. He says, oh, I gotta look up her name. Of course, I'm assuming her is the correct.
I don't have any vibes about this place at all.
No, that's great.
This place is perfectly normal, perfectly healthy.
He kind of laughs. He says, it sounds like Vol is some strange god that you worship.
He is.
And he chuckles. And he says,
You're never alone when you have ball in your heart.
yeah. that I didn't think you'd bring up. Oh, he says, here in Lamordia, we worship, there is only one god. We worship Ezra, the goddess of the mists.
That's cool. What's he do?
She is the overarching god of all creation. She is born in the mists at the edge of our realm.
I know something about mist.
Yeah, isn't he like a cat or something?
Yeah.
Our buddy. Well, I was thinking also the mist, like, she's the goddess that is on the border of their land, and we went through the mist to get there, or I went through the mist to get there.
So this is a little bit different from Barovia. Barovia, they have two gods. They have the Lord of Light, which you have determined to be actually a manifestation of Lathander. And then there is the Madam Knight, which you haven't really determined too much about her, but you would guess that maybe she might be an aspect of Shar. But they're saying that Ezra is something completely different. Ezra, well, I will read you about Ezra. He tells you how fantastic Ezra is. Denizens of several domains worship an aloof god known as Ezra. Depicted as a vague, vaporous figure, the god is known for her dark, billowing hair and for her ability to manipulate the mists. Her holy symbol is a sprig of belladonna atop a silver kite shield. Now, what she may represent is, it sounds like she's probably fairly neutral. It doesn't seem like she, from his description of her, it doesn't seem like Ezra cares too much about good or evil. She seems, like I said, she's aloof. She almost seems like she does whatever carries her whim at the moment.
I will tell him about Baal being the god of life and death and being very neutral. And your god and my god sound like they should get along and they should like hang out and have like tea together.
He
and
is
be, like epic.
He is extremely interested. Oh, god of life and death. Oh, that is fascinating.
Your imaginary friend, my imaginary friend could be BFFs.
Right. So he takes you back out of the Schwein and Pfeif to the cart and carries you back to his manor, number 444 Bachter Street. And he brings you inside. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. I shall return.
Feels a lot like Ravenloft, where everybody's suspect.
Right. And up to zero good. Just weird stuff. I'm like now scouring all of my potential spells for necromancy. I feel like that's gonna come in handy.
Okay. So, Klaus leads you in to his manor house. You notice that the manor house is a little dusty, but it's pretty good. And he says, "Please excuse my residence. Many of my staff have been let go." And
you keep murdering them.
and this gnome, the butler, Vorstein, he comes up and he goes, "Master, I see you are home. Oh, are these the guests that shall be staying with us for the evening?" He says, yes. Are their rooms prepared? And he says, "Yes, master. Their rooms are prepared. They are upstairs. They are given the master suite." And Klaus says, "Yes, that is most excellent. I must bid you all adieu. I am going to go down to my private laboratory. I must continue my work from the day. I've spent far too much time away." And he exits and leaves. And the butler says, I understand that the master has already fed you at the Schwein and Pfeif. Please follow me and I shall take you upstairs to your rooms. Or if you would like, you can see your way around. I can meet you upstairs and take you there whenever you're ready. And there, to the south here, there is this large staircase. It goes upstairs. And he just kind of waits over here. And you can explore wherever you would like to explore.
Which way did he walk toward the laboratory? Because anybody who says laboratory is suspicious.
Dr. Klaus has left through these double doors here.
Okay.
And this actually, Brian, this is actually a large steam pipe organ.
I play a few random notes.
When you play a few random notes, it goes, and you see a bunch of dust and cobwebs blown out. And Vorstein, the butler, says, "You'll have to forgive us. We don't have the staff and we haven't cleaned the pipes in some time, although the instrument should work perfectly."
I play more random notes to see if it clears up.
Yeah, every time you play a different chord, different pipes hit and dust and cobwebs are blown out, but nothing special happens.
Meh.
Except now the room is filled with dust and pipe organ cobwebs. These are actually bookshelves. There are a number of interesting treatises on different, there's this bookshelf has like an entire medical encyclopedia. And this bookshelf has treatises on the removal of limbs and organs, keeping the patient alive.
That's not creepy.
It is recommended in all of these that if the patient is alive, to use copious amounts of chloroform.
These are all books by Viv E. section.
Actually, most of the books in the section that Mabel is looking at are actually by an author called Dr. Victra Mordenheim.
Wait, didn't I already talk to her? Oh, that's where I got my letter.
Or so it would
Right.
seem.
Do any of the books that I'm looking at have anything like telling bloody fingerprints on them or anything like that?
No. They all appear pristine with red leather bindings. Make an investigation check.
Okay. 24.
On 24, the leather of these books feels different from any leather you've felt before. Like perhaps they're made of like pig skin.
Yeah, pig skin in air quotes.
Long pig. Vorstein comes back out and he has a tray and he offers on the tray is a silver bowl and he offers pepperell. He says, would you like a nightcap of candy corn before you go up to your rooms? And there's this silver bowl full of candy corn.
It's the worst can in existence, I'll have some.
They're little cones of sugar. And he passes around, offers it to everyone. And Maisel's like,
survival chicken, but it appears to contain animal proteins.
So if I cast Purify Food and Drink, will it turn into a better candy?
It just stays Yes, it turns it into Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, okay.
I think a handful.
Yes.
There's not enough bone meal in it for Carrie's taste.
But bone meal is the special ingredient.
I would like to wake up in the morning without my head sewn to someone else, so I'm gonna pass on the candy.
Is there anywhere in here that you would like to investigate further? You're on the ground floor.
Mike does not have a sweet tooth.
Let's go to 3. I'll check it out.
Okay. So, you guys pop into 3. There appears to be a large dining table set with beautiful silverware setting. The chairs on the sides are all high-back chairs with a rolled red velvet. The seat at the head of the table is a large chair, almost throne-like, also with rolled velvet, with brass tacks and the whole bit. The table itself is set out with a full silver place setting, but there's no food on the table since you had already eaten. Vorstein follows you in, and he says, "Oh, you'll have to excuse us. The table is set, but I have to do all the cooking. Our cook left the premises for better lands. I think that the cook left for Newfoundland, but I'm not sure what happened to her."
All right.
Matilda. Her name was Matilda Rexstock. And there are double doors to the north, and then there is this hallway to the west with a double door to the north and a double door to the south. And of course, there are windows all along here as well.
Is this an empty bookshelf?
Actually, that shelf holds fine china, crystal goblets, things like that.
Surprisingly in good condition.
Brian, make an investigation check.
Ooh. And the good rolls finally stop. Investigation 7.
Ugh. Yeah, you don't find anything. You find that the china and crystal that's in this bookshelf hasn't been dusted in quite some time. You find dust and cobwebs.
It's a shame such good stuff in such poor condition.
Vorstein moves to the hallway and says, I must say, I must ask that you must not bother the master during his studies in the laboratory. And when he says that, these double doors blow open like there's like a sudden gust of wind. Helga, you're in what used to be or is the kitchen. And you see these doors. Suddenly, there's like a wind in here that blows things around. The pottery the pottery and cutlery start swinging back and forth, and these doors burst open. And in your ear, you hear, "Do not trust Dr. Klaus."
Okay, I'll share that with the group later with her butler.
Are you, when you say you're sharing that, are you being quiet about it, or are you just saying it out loud?
I'm gonna wait till the butler's away, though. Like, I'm not gonna say anything yet.
So yeah, the butler is up here in the hallway.
Oh, okay, so I could come over and say it kind of quiet.
Right.
Okay, I'll do that.
So, shit. Go ahead and make a. I guess this would be a stealth check.
Seven.
So, Vorstein, the gnome butler, steps forward and goes, "Oh, what is that? No. There are no voices. There are no voices in Schloss Klaus. You must be mistaken. You heard the wind whispering."
Wow, he's kind of uppity for a butler, isn't he?
He's not just a gnome. He walks with a bit of a limp, and he's got a hump on his back.
Oh, okay, cool. He's like a lab
And like
assistant.
one eye goes in one direction, one eye goes in the other. Nothing gets past him.
He's got the vision of a rat.
Yes.
Is he asking anybody to hold on to my strong hand?
No. Oh, God. So I saw a meme that I saved it because it's fucking hilarious. So the whole joke about Trump having tiny hands. It's got a picture of Sigourney Weaver when she's from Aliens 3 where she's turning her head away from the alien. And it's got like this little suited arm with a tiny fucking hand coming up. And it says, "Trump reaching out to women voters." Yes. Quaid, turn on the reactor.
Any people from my suggestion spell come calling yet?
Yes, there is a knock at the door. And Vorstein says, "Oh, I shall go get the door." And he runs off and answers the door with Pepperell, evidently.
Yes.
And at the door is the captain of the guard and the 3 prostitutes.
Excellent.
The captain of the guard tells you basically pretty much everything that you know. This woman that was killed was named Lydia. Her internal organs were not taken. Unfortunately, they were left. And he tells you that it was much to the chagrin of the coroner because he has to put her back together. Her arms were amputated with extreme surgical precision, with a minimum of blood loss. But he also tells you that it appears that when and he says, and I don't necessarily understand this, and he pulls out a notepad and he reads from the coroner that when the arms were cut off, it appears that the veins that were cut were tied off to maintain whatever blood was in the limbs. But that the rest of the body was drained of the blood to the point where it seems that it was almost pumped. There was, and you'll remember when you went to see the murder scene, it didn't seem like there was you've performed disembowelings. There wasn't the slop puddle that was around this body like you would have expected. There was some blood, but it seems like it was quickly pumped out of the victim. The 3 prostitutes tell you that there were other victims. The other victims were various prostitutes that had... Another prostitute had her legs removed. Another prostitute had her... she kind of whispers that she says her reproductive parts. Another prostitute had her breasts removed. And so there have been 4 killings up to this point with various parts. One of them had their pancreas removed.
She's the guilty one.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no matter what. I mean, even if you're making a new flesh column, you can't trust it if it doesn't have pancreas.
Yeah.
Well, the prostitute whose pancreas was stolen had a really nice personality.
Right. So that's what they tell you. The rest of the townsfolk, yeah, there's others milling about outside, but they really have no real information. They talk of ridiculousness. That the killer is a ghost, that the killer is some kind of werewolf. I mean, none of these things make any sense to you who has run into ghosts and werewolves. So none of this makes sense to you.
So sometimes getting excess knowledge to rule out who has good knowledge is helpful too.
Right. And Vorstein overhears all this and he goes, "This is all nonsense. It is just a serial murderer that's running around the town. I mean, they're not taking parts to do anything. And why would you believe prostitutes? They're probably telling you whatever it is that they want to hear in order to bed you and ply you with wine."
You think the captain of the guard is trying to bed me?
And Vorstein says, "Well, I've heard his doors are double-ended, as they may say."
Oh, the captain of the guard.
Yeah. If the stuff it says is consistent with what the guard just told us, to see if this is like widespread knowledge or if the murderer did it a different way than the way that the author told people to.
So let me make an intellect check for the captain of the guard on that. He tells you, he says, "Madame, I am sure that I'm not quite sure, but in my experience, it does seem similar."
Carries will look at him and be like, "Oh, nobody likes to do weird stuff like create zombies," as I pull out my zombie head and start petting it.
And he is taken aback and he goes, "Oh, I hate those horrors from Ludendorf University."
"Oh no, this one's special. You should hold him."
But what's the book say though? Do we know if it says the same thing, like tie off the veins and blah blah blah?
Oh,
'Cause he has books on how to do it.
Helga, make an investigation check.
Ten.
So Helga, you, upon hearing this information, go over and study this minor library of medical treatises from Victor Mordingheim, and you find a book from Victor Mordingheim on dissection and vivisection. But now make a medicine check. It is quite the hefty book. Evidently, Victra has a lot to say about this.
I got a 13.
On 13, you see that there is knowledge in here of, well, I say knowledge. There is a treatise written about maintaining the current blood in a part of the corpse that you are removing the limb from, and it does go into tying off the veins using the tendon of the actual person that you're cutting it away from. There's also a part in here about the importance of exsanguinating a corpse and saving it for later, is her exact words.
You're gonna get thirsty. I mean,
Well, don't let this go to waste. We always like gravy.
so anybody that has this book or talks to that guy could get this information about how to do that. So it's not like a secret thing.
It would be your. It seems that it would be your insight into this, that these books were mass produced. So it's not like they're special, to Dr. Klaus. These have been around for a while.
All right, that's all I can think of to contribute to the investigation at the moment.
What about anybody else?
Was the skulking around cowl hat guy outside?
He was not.
Hmm.
Did you want to ask the captain about anybody relating to that, or? I mean, it's up to you.
No, more curiosity. I'd go pursue him if he was out there but hadn't come up yet.
Okay.
He may have been following the pack, or may have made his wisdom save and not be present.
So the people outside, having given their testimony, Vorstein comes over and goes, "Please, come with me. I'll take you upstairs, and I will see you to your rooms." But it's up to you guys.
Follow the hunchback for now.
I want to keep reading and I want to look out the window. That's what I want to do. Is he going to make me? Is he going to be really annoying about it?
No. What about Brian?
Oh.
I want to see the other piano.
You what?
Well, I don't know they exist, but I want to see these when I get down here.
So what are you looking for?
More-
Looking at the map, I see that these exist. I just want to go down there and mess with them.
See that what exists. Oh. Okay. Yeah. You can go down there. So you find...
Kick open the door because that's how I enter rooms.
Yeah, you kick open the doors and you find that there is an entire library down here with 2 reading tables. And these bookshelves, make an investigation check.
Why? I went from rolling grandly to not rolling grandly. I rolled a 6.
So you find that these bookshelves are just lined with medical treatises, many of them by Victor Mordenheim, some of them written by Klause Lorfstein, who is your host. And you find a particular book by Dr. Klaus about the removal of the retina from the eyeball of a corpse, and it goes over. Evidently, he performed this procedure in the Ludendorf University's instruction hall in front of a live studio audience.
Ooh, fancy.
Dinner and a show.
Alrighty. I would like to...
But you do find a note.
Is this a candle?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm in.
And on the table, you find a note. And the note...
I would like to read the note if I can.
The note says this. And it is written in the same handwriting as the note that Maisel got as her invitation to wed Adam.
Oh, this is like a whole fancy picture.
Yes. If you would like, I can read this, since I know some people have a problem reading cursive. I do. It's
I can read it. You want me to?
yeah. You go ahead and read it.
Thank you.
My dearest Dr. Mordenheim, I believe I have stumbled upon the most sacred of discoveries in my experiments. I believe I have stumbled upon the ability to recreate the greatest of creation, the unbreakable heart. I have constructed a most princely design to contain this amazing technology and have gifted him to you. Adam, as I have named him, shall be the Prince of Lamordia. However, every prince needs his princess, so I have begun construction of a bride most fair. The final piece of this construction has been invited to wed. What the? Wed Adam, and she is currently en route from a distant land called Barovia. I shall recreate the unbreakable heart and present the prince and princess to you at Ludendorf University on the morrow. Fuck that shit. Oh. I take the note back to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some flesh gold shit going on here.
So, so you come back to the group, but Vorstein is still here, waiting for the group to gather so he can take you upstairs to your rooms.
Who do I think in the group would be most invested in this letter?
Well, I don't know. I would guess the bride. I mean, that's me. Like, hey, did you know that you're betrothed? I mean, I don't want to turn this into a Maury Povich show, but
but I guess I can give it to her. Hey, I slip it to her kind of on the low since I'm in the other room still.
So Maisel, he hands you this letter, and you recognize. I mean, the handwriting is obvious. The takeaway from this is that the letter that you received was not from Victra Mordenheim.
Yeah, right. It's the letter I got was sent from our host.
Yes.
Trying to lure me in. I suppose I should be flattered that some part of me is good enough for the undead.
Vorstein sees that you have all kind of gathered, and he starts to head up the stairs on his own. Yes, follow me. I shall take you to your rooms. What do you guys want to do?
I feel like I want to go spend the night. I'd rather risk it on Hoe Street, sleeping in amongst the said hoes.
Now, hold on. So, Brian, when you went to the library and you found this, you passed through a room that there were another 2 double doors that lead to the east out of that room. And it seems that this was a small study that you passed through before going into the library. However, the doors to the east are locked, and are not just locked with a normal lock, but with a chain and padlock.
Oh.
Well, I would use my
Glad
lightsaber.
to see that epicness.
Maybe lightsaber it.
You guys want me to cut that door open?
Well, are we gonna rebel and not stay here? So we could tie up the butler or something before we do all this shit.
So the butler has now gone upstairs. He seems to be waiting for you. He thinks that you're going to follow him. He's upstairs waiting for you to present your bedrooms. But Brian's like, yeah, there's this door that's been padlocked shut.
I kind of want to do a circle around the outside and just see if anything suspicious is happening outside before we butt down.
You don't see anything suspicious outside.
Show us our room.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
wanna go with... Oh, sorry.
Sorry. So Carice, you go and kind of reconnoiter outside. You don't see anything suspicious outdoors.
Then yeah, I'll slip back in and tell the party, like, so far outside seems to be okay.
Well,
I think if we go and let him show us our rooms, we can slip away after that, but he is not looking for us or waiting for us.
that's a good idea. We could sleep in shifts too, that way.
Sounds good.
Okay. I shall group you together. Now, I shall group you together. There we go.
Does the bed come with skeletons?
No. Yeah, the bed doesn't come with skeletons. This is the bed chamber that you have been offered to whoever would like to take this room. There is also 13, whoever wants to take that room. And 15 can take a room.
I don't want to stay in 15.
There's probably, there's 2 to a room.
15
So
have new sheets by any chance?
it does have new sheets.
Menstrual hut is what that shit is right there. I don't want to stay in there. It's not time. I'd rather have us all sleep in one room with like sleeping.
You could stay in the Tampax heavy flow room if you'd like, but there's 2 to a room. So this is the master bedroom, and Vorstein tells you, yes, this is Master has granted you the master bedroom for whoever wants to stay here.
So you said it was 2 to a room. Can we all act like we're going to stay in separate rooms and then come back to the master bedroom and all stay together?
Yes, Vorstein presents you to the master bedroom, tells you, about room 15 and room 13, and then he shuts the doors and leaves. He says, before leaving, he says, if you have anything that you need,
I'm going to go to bed.
well, he says, if you have anything that you need, he sets a silver bell down on this table, and he says, just ring, and I'm sure that I'll be able to hear it. I will be downstairs. And he shuts the doors and leaves.
Okay. So what does everybody want to do?
Well, this place is a shit show, everybody.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
remind them of the padlocked doors.
everybody gets the sheets out of the beds from all the different rooms, and we can make a sheet bridge to climb out the window.
But
Oh,
like,
no, I'm looking around first.
So, Brian, make an investigation check.
I don't know what you guys found out. This place has a nice, homey atmosphere.
It's almost as good as a bed and breakfast in Barovia.
Yes!
Slightly better roll, 16.
So, over here, on this nightstand next to the bed, you find a small doll, about a foot tall, and it seems to be a child's toy that appears to be riding it's a wind-up toy that appears to be riding a unicycle, and it is carrying it's holding in its hands a large hat pin, and it is wearing a little frilled dress and a little matching frilled hat. And it's just sitting by itself on the nightstand.
How big would you say this toy is?
It is the size of Pepperell. It is a small doll. Pepperell, if I remember correctly, Pepperell's a halfling?
No, I'm Kalistar, so I'm normal.
Oh. No, it's about the size of a halfling or a gnome. So, it's a good... It's sitting on this desk, and it is a good 3 feet tall.
That might be a new body for the zombie head.
Make a investigation check.
Yeah, shit. I didn't investigate nothing.
What'd you get?
15.
Let's see. Inside investigate. A 3.
Oh boy.
I'm just looking at it like, that's so adorable. I'm holding up the zombie head like, yeah, it's about right proportions. While it's snapping at my fingers.
Yeah. Hold on here.
Open on the nose. Stop it. Stop trying to bite me.
So, Helga, are you not in the room? You're in 17?
Yeah, I went to 17. I don't know. I'm just doing my own thing this game.
Everybody roll initiative.
Mr. Snappy, would you like a tricycle?
Oh! And back to the bad rolls. 6. Hey, stop deleting my number.
21. 22.
Yeah.
Come here, babies. Okay.
There we go. Why do I have to have the worst initiative and I'm right next to it?
Well, that's okay. It's going to get a surprise turn. Between Pepperell and Carice, who wants to go first?
Either or.
Let Carice go first. I'll watch.
Looks dangerous. You go first. So, as Carice is looking at this small construct, and it looks like it could be wound up, it wow. Brutal. The small construct reaches out and stabs Carice's hand with the needle.
Ow.
17 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay, so this is a Carrionette. It is a... Did I put a picture of it? Let's see. Yeah, I did. This is what the Carrionette looks like.
Oh, lovely.
So it's basically like a small version of Piddlewick, and it tries to stab Carice in the hand. Mike, Carice yells out, "Mike, what would you like to do?"
Oh, I'm gonna smack that shit.
Smash it!
Smash it good with my axe.
So you got to move to get to the Carrionette. I imagine you probably have that movement. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's only 27 feet, so yeah. Go and make your attack. 17?
17 to smash.
Yeah, you hit.
$11 damage.
Okay. Next attack.
Uh, 19 to hit.
That hits.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second here. Okay, your next attack, how much damage did you do?
19 damage.
Okay. Oof. Do you have a third attack?
Nope.
Okay.
Just you.
Okay. Helga, you're down in this side room. You see that there is a small cot here that seems... So when he left, you were told by Vorstein that he would be in this room if you need anything and you would hear the bell ring. You see that there's a small cot, and you see that there are 2 bookcases here as well. And he's got a single window because that's all hunchback gnomes get.
Are any of the books interesting titles or anything?
Make an investigation check.
I got 9.
So these are more treatises on different medicine. A lot of them on Victor Mordenheim's cures, and her father, Victor Mordenheim, cures for various hunchback ailments, thyroid disease, some miracle drug called Prevagen that will allow you to remember things, and the one of the most drastic cures for all of this is the transference of the head to another body.
And then I hear a bunch of combat noises, right?
Yeah, you hear a loud, ouch, fuck, motherfucker, and you hear a big axe like slash down and hit something in the master bedroom.
I can dash to about here.
Okay.
Go, what's going on, guys?
Maisel, what would you like to do? This is not foreign to you guys at all.
Well, eventually I want to start checking all these bookshelves for secret passages, but right now I'm going to go over here to shoot at the Carrionette with my crossbow.
Go for it.
$21.
That hits.
For 7.
Okay. You get another shot, I believe.
I do.
I'm just trying to imagine this ridiculous fucking fiddle. Pa-chung, pa-chung, shooting crossbow bolts.
That's the thing, is I start playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia as the music background.
Right.
For the fight. But I only got 14 to hit the second time, so I doubt I hit.
No, that's a miss.
Yeah.
Okay. You got anything else? Bonus action, movement?
Let's see, bonus action. How many times can I do inspiration?
Haha, this character doesn't throw rocks, motherfucker.
I know I don't have any magic rocks. It's very sad. No, I don't think I'm going to take any bonus actions right now.
Okay. The Carrionette is terribly upset. Like its face literally the instead of the smile that it had, it gets a big frown and looks at Mike and is going to make a needle attack on Mike. God damn
All I
it.
can think of is like talking Tina from the Twilight Zone. Like, I am talking Tina, and I am going to kill you.
Yeah, kind of. And so it tries to stab Mike with its hat pin and misses. And then it seems to go and stop working and lean over.
Snort at it in derision.
Carice, what would you like to do since it tried to stab you first? Point blank Eldritch Blast. Fuck that doll.
Doesn't have Eldritch Blast.
Oh, that's right. You're a sorcerer. That's right.
Burning hands.
Magic missile. Burning hands is a good one. Yeah, fuck that. I'd burn this entire room to the ground. I'm sorry, it had a fucking talking or a attacking marionette in it. I would just burn this entire building to the ground. I'm sorry. That
unicycler. We had to stop it.
and I saw it was a unicycling mime, and I think there was a spider in the corner. I had to burn this whole building to the ground.
Oh,
And I think there was one of those guys painted in silver pretending to be a robot. The whole thing had to go.
actually, I think I'm gonna Burning Hands it.
All right. She gets a dex save, right?
Dex save for half.
Oh, fuck me. So she rolls a nat 1. She's going to take double damage from that.
Let me just double check one thing based on my level.
Should stick with my regular dice. So I did get the dice and miscellany kit for Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and I have new dice. Maybe I should use those. They seem to roll really well, and they're bright orange, so they're easy to see.
Oh, there it is. Okay. $13 damage.
Okay, so you cast Burning Hands, and this little doll and the nightstand all catch fire, and as it's burning and melting, you hear it scream, and it sounds like the scream of 10 children burning to death.
Would the things that catch on fire, would that be considered regular fire or magic fire at this point?
Well, it is magical fire, but there's really no differentiation between things that have resistance or not. And it is not.
My magic item that you gave me a while back ago, my gloves ball, when attuned, all non-magical fires within 30 feet of you are extinguished.
So, okay. So here's the weird thing. So the Carrionette and the nightstand are burned to ash. These torches that are, and they're not torches, they're like small gaslight lanterns in the room, do not go out. They are, it is clear to you that these are not really gaslight lanterns. They have a continual light spell cast upon them.
Nice.
Magic in this place that doesn't believe in magic? Hmm.
And at the foot of the bed is a trunk. And of course, another small library of books by Victra Mordenheim.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Snappy, your new body got burnt. We'll find you another one.
In these doors to the north, this room holds bedding and linens. The linens are very fine. They don't appear to be from here. And one of them, that you find a note that they are actually from another location. They're not from Lamordia. They are from someplace called Har-Akir. And they are extremely fine linen. And there's a door to the east out of this room where, and no, this is not a real portal or anything. You find that that is actually your bathroom.
It's a portal.
Yeah, it's a portal, just not the type that you want to enter.
Portal to the elemental plane of pissing.
Yes. Yeah, that right out of Spartacus, it is the portal to the elemental plane of piss and shit.
I want to check, I guess, this bookshelf, because I don't know that the wall is actually there. I want to start looking for books that when you pull on them, they open secret doors.
Make an investigation check.
Because there are a lot of bookshelves, and one of them's got to lead to the laboratory. Oh, well, I didn't find anything. 13.
That's not true. So you find several books called by authors Victor Mordenheim and Victor Mordenheim. In one of the books by Victor Mordenheim, which you are assuming just by the preface is Victra's father, you find a number of pages that have been tucked into a section about creating a flesh golem. And there are specific anatomical drawings, Victorian-style anatomical drawings about attaching a limb. And there are notes from Dr. Klause Lorfstein that it seems that Klaus is creating a bride for Adam, and the head of which will be the Duchess of Barovia.
Well, I'm flattered that I'm cute enough to be the face, but...
Well, hey, I mean, you're going to get a whole new body.
Just a stick figure with her picture like pasted on there, like a
yeah, basically. Actually, no, they're pretty good sketches, but yeah, that's the plan.
I want to know how this stupid doctor got close enough to draw sketches of my face and I didn't notice it. But there's no like.
You're a heavy sleeper.
There's no like books on hinges that I can use to get anywhere else.
No, there's no secret passage.
Dang it! One of these has got to have one. Okay.
I want to go investigate the bloody room.
Okay. So, yep, there you are.
You learn about a beautiful natural part of a woman's life. Sorry.
So, Brian,
I just want to know, was this like a childbirth room? Was this a childbirth gone wrong? Or first period gone wrong? Wait, what's that word? Loss of virginity gone wrong? Like, what went wrong in this room? What the shit is that?
Oh, there's a critter.
Shit. It's not collaborating with me. So,
Or corpse.
Why the hell did I?
so Brian, you as you do, you kick open these doors, and on the bed, you see that there is a corpse, and it gets up.
Oh shit! It's Uncle Frank from Hellraiser.
This is not a corpse that you've ever seen before. It's not animated so much as it seems to have died and its soul was trapped inside. It's a serious fight, and we will pick that up next week.
So,
Alright. You mean, wait, week after next?
Or yeah, you're right. So week after next on the 30th, we will pick up your fight against what is known as a Gionji.
Oh man. Alright.
Alright,
Cool. Thank you, everybody.
So are you guys enjoying your horror themed event for Halloween?
Yeah. Spooky.
Yes, this is gonna be fun.
All right. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know. I might write this up for DM's Guild. I haven't decided yet.
sounds like good.
All right. Have a good week, everybody, and we will see you back in 2 weeks on October 30th for the conclusion of the Mists of Lamordia.
Yay.
Yay!
All right, man.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one, guys.